everybody, it's Chad from Stick's blog. I'm Stick, and today I want to do just a little initial review on the new ZPacks Blast 30 backpack and the multi-pack that I just received in the mail yesterday, day before. I wasn't really going to do an initial review yet. I'm headed out on a trip next weekend, and I was going to try and kind of talk about it a little bit while I was on that trip. But I was talking to John and Bella last night, and he asked me for a couple of pictures of a couple of things on the pack, so I figured, what the heck, I'll go ahead and do an initial review because I can always do the other video. So real quick, what I want to do is just kind of go over some of the features of the pack that are new. And when I say new, I mean features that I knew that I would be getting that would be different from the pack that John sent me. Also, there were 3 things that I noticed about the pack that I didn't expect. And then I also want to talk about the multi-pack just a little bit. So real quick, of course, the new features of the pack was the both the shoulder straps and the hip belts. If you'll notice, the shoulder straps now are more of a curved shape. They're like an S shape almost. And the hip belts are just a little bit different too. On the older ones, it was actually wide at the top, and as it went down it kind of tapered. Whereas these are the same width all the way across, and actually the padding on these extend just a little bit farther. I got the 50-inch on my waist belts, and I noticed on John's, which was also a 50-inch, the end of the padding didn't exactly come all the way to my hips, the bony part of my hips, whereas on these they do. Actually, the bony part of my hips is right about here, so these pads, this hip belt fits me perfectly as far as I'm concerned. But those are the 2 new things that I was expecting on this pack, the hip belts and the shoulder straps. But there was, like I said, there was 3 things that I wasn't expecting on the pack. The first thing that I wasn't expecting, since I'm back here, is the way that the shoulder straps actually attach to the pack. Now I will say that the pictures may depict that on the ZPack site. I maybe didn't pay enough attention, I don't know. But on the old one, the shoulder straps were actually sewn directly to the back of the backpack. On these new ones, you can see that their shoulder straps are completely free from the pack, and they're attached to the pack by a piece of nylon, I guess it's nylon, webbing. He's got it sewed, and it's pretty reinforced on both sides, on the strap as well as the backpack. But I don't know how well you can see that. You can see it's sewed there, and then it's sewed there. So I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting it to be sewn directly to the pack. So I'm a little curious as to how well that's going to hold up as opposed to when it was just sewn straight to the pack. Like I said, I'm taking it out next weekend, and my pack weight's going to be between 18 and 19 pounds starting off, and probably about 15 pounds, 14 to 15 pounds finishing up. So I'll see how it does. The second thing that I noticed about this pack that I wasn't expecting was the use of line locks. On the pack that John sent me, it had all the loops across here, but it didn't have line locks attached to them. However, when I got these, I noticed that there's line locks attached to the 3 loops that are sewn in each side of the mesh pocket. I'm probably going to leave them there because if I was to take them off, I'll have to destroy them to take them off. So I'm going to leave them there, see how they do, and then if I don't like them, I'll take them off. And the last thing that I didn't expect, I have to turn the pack inside out. The last thing I didn't expect is it looks like Joe has used some other type of material, maybe the nylon Cuben hybrid material, to reinforce the areas at the hip as well as at the shoulders. I'm not sure why I did that instead of just using the Cuben. I don't know if it's a money thing or if it's a weight thing or it's a strength thing. I'm not sure, so I'll be curious to see how that does. Like I said, in John's pack, this was an extra piece of the Cuben fiber was added to each of these, so I'm not sure how that do. Now, when I ordered the pack, initially I didn't order anything on it, but when I received it, it had the little straps right here on each side, the top straps. And it also had some buckles attached somewhere down here. And I took all that off. And then the pack weighed 8.6 ounces. Well, other than this, it weighed 8.6 ounces as was. Since then I've added two things, well, three things. I went ahead and I added another cord right here on the side. The reason I did that is because there may be times where I have to stand up a platypus bottle here, 2 liter, and I'll need something that's going to help hold it up. And then the other thing I did was I added these little bungees off my ULA circuit onto the shoulder straps to carry my Gatorade bottle here. I really love carrying my Gatorade bottle on my shoulder straps, so I decided to go ahead and implement that on this pack as well. Of course, it did cost me a 0.4 ounce weight penalty, but like I said, it's a system that works for me, and at that weight penalty I'm willing to accept it. So. Okay, also I want to talk about the multi-pack. I ordered the Blast 30 pack, and I also ordered the multi-pack. The reason I ordered the multi-pack is because I'm trying something a little different. I'm trying to put some of my weight on the front rather than on my hip belts or in all the pockets outside the pack. So the only pockets, like I say, that's on my pack here is going to be the main pocket and then the 2 side pockets, and I'm going to have a very minimal amount of stuff in those pockets. So what I'm going to use to store all my little stuff that I want to get out, like snacks, maps, you know, just whatever, I'm going to use this multi-pack here. Now the multi-pack is made out of the same 1.43 ounce per square yard Cuben fiber as the backpack is, and it's also white just like the backpack is. In my opinion, I think white looks better than the other colors that are offered as well. I can kind of see through it, so I can kind of see where stuff is if I'm looking for something. The multi-pack came with 6 attachment points, 3 on each side. I originally did just ask for the 2 at the top, but for some reason he said his seamstress kind of maybe missed a note, I'm not sure, and she added these. But it's no big deal. He said all I gotta do is cut them off if I don't want them. But just like the line locks that came on my pack, since they're there, I'm gonna go ahead and try them out, see how they do, because once I take them off, I can't put them back on. So I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna use it for a few times and see if there's a possibility I might use them, and if not, I'm gonna get rid of them, as well as the line locks on the pack. I ordered the 50-inch hip belt because I need it for a little bit extra width around my hips. But anyway, the Cuben fiber multi-pack all by itself weighs 1 ounce. If I add on the straps that are used to attach the multi-pack to my backpack, it goes up to 1.4 ounces. And to be honest, I didn't even weigh how much the belt weighs. I'll include that later. I'm probably not ever going to use that. That's probably going to be something that sits at home anyway. But anyway, that's my ZPacks Cuben Fiber Blast 30 and my multi-pack. And I want to give a real big thanks to Joe, not only for all the awesome gear and equipment that I've gotten from him lately, but also for some of the gear that's on the way. Last Friday I placed an order for the Hexamid Solo Plus tent and the Solo Plus Cuben Fiber ground sheet. And I know that there's a 3-week waiting period, but I did ask Joe, I asked him if he could get it here, if possible, by next Friday, which is when I leave to go on the trip. And I'll tell you what, I got an email probably about an hour before I made this video, and it was one of those awesome PayPal emails that says your package is on the way. So I want to give a big thanks to Joe. It looks like within a week's time, and that's also counting some of his time off because I placed it during the holidays. He wasn't even back at the shop when I placed it, I don't believe. But anyway, in less than a week's time, whenever I'm sure that he's busy, he's getting my gear and he's getting it shipped out to me. Anyway, I just want to say a big thanks to Joe ZPacks for getting everything out in time, for talking with me about the gear, and just for the awesome gear in general. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments about anything, just post them at the bottom. I'll do my best to get back to you and answer those questions. And if not, look out for another video on the pack and the multi-pack, and probably a little shot of the Hexamid Solo coming up in a couple of weeks. Till then, we'll see you later. Thanks.